Yes. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace, Madam Gopal Prabhu, and all glories to our assembled Vaishnava devotees. Devotees, we thank you all for being here as always. Srimad Bhagavatam is so nectarian, and it is said that even though it's so nectarian, that because it has been touched by Shukadev Goswami, it's even more glorious. And even more than that is that it is also more glorious when we share the Bhagavatam amongst Vaishnava devotees. Again, it is so glorious we have His Grace here with us, who is going to share Bhagavatam with us out of his love and devotion to Shri Guru and Krishna. Prabhuji, personally, I also want to say a big thank you for accepting the service of Diksha. I saw sometime last week you did do some initiation ceremony. Everybody needs a guru in order to get back home, back to Godhead. That is the simplest way, as Shastra and gurus have told us. So it is so wonderful that you could render the service. And with all your busy schedule, you still made time to be with us today. We're very much grateful and very much appreciative for accepting to be with us today. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. And let me say, if you have the sharing rights, yes, let me do this. You don't. Okay. Now you may. So, Hare Krishna, it's up to you.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sahadev Prabhu, and thank you, dear devotees, for joining Hare Krishna Africa channel. It's especially an honor for me to join Hare Krishna Africa channel. I've been fortunate enough to have been invited several times in the past on this Zoom channel, and it's personal for me. Having grown up, I was born and raised in East Africa myself, so I have a deep love, and that's where I also discovered my Krishna conscious journey back in the 90s by the mercy of the devotees in Africa, in Kenya. So it's always good to come and serve in whatever way I can to our fellow devotees, especially this channel that reaches out to so many countries. And their devotees will watch live on YouTube, and hopefully they'll watch it live and later on, the recorded ones as well. So before we start the Srimad Bhagavatam class, we always recite this mantra. This mantra is the opening words of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm going to get started with that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, chapter 14, verse number 6. The theme is placing his feet upon the head of death. Yayotana pada putro munina gitayarbhaka mrityo kritvaiva murdhyangrim aruroha hare padam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By hearing these topics from the sage, Narada, The son of King Uttanapada, Dhruva, was enlightened regarding the personality of Godhead, and he ascended to the abode of the Lord, placing his feet over the head of death. Purport. While quitting his body, Maharaj Dhruva, the son of King Uttanapada, was attended by personalities like Sunanda and others, who received him in the kingdom of God. He left this world at an early age as a young boy, although he had attained the throne of his father and had several children of his own. Because he was due to quit this world, death was waiting for him. He did not care for death, however. And even with his present body, he boarded a spiritual airplane and went directly to the planet of Vishnu because of his association with the great sage Narada, who had spoken to him the narration of the pastimes of the Lord. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. There are stories that entertain. There are stories that educate. And then there are stories that awaken the soul. Among all the heroes sung in scripture, the kings who ruled continents, sages who subdued the elements, and warriors who commanded armies, there stands a small child, 5 years old, who conquered something none of the others could. He conquered death itself. When Dhruva Maharaj boarded the celestial airplane that came from Vaikuntha, he didn't just merely travel through the skies. He traveled beyond mortality. So the verse today, it paints that moment in a very poetic, majestic way. Eto na utpada putra munina giyatyarbhaka. By hearing the transcendental topics from the sage Narada, the son of King Uttanapada, Dhruva became enlightened about the personality of Godhead. And he ascended to the Lord's abode, placing his feet upon the head of death. That's the translation. Just pause and visualize this. He's placing his feet upon the head of death. Mrityu murdhni angrim kritva. Angri means the foot. Mrityu means death. So he made death bow down and he stepped over it. So what is for other people great source of terror and fear, for him it became a stepping stone. What does this tell us? This is the power of hearing from a pure devotee. This is the power of bhakti yoga infused with Guru Kripa. He got the Kripa, the mercy of his Guru, Narada Muni. And this is the glory of Dhruva Maharaj, the boy who turned pain into perfection. He was very pained. Let's learn about this. So we are in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This canto is rich with creation, with cosmology, the earliest dramas of devotion of human beings trying to connect with the Lord. In this section, we are reading, we see the conclusion of the story of Dhruva Maharaj, one of the most moving transformations in the entire Bhagavatam. The story begins with the young child's wounded pride. And then it rises to the fire of austerity, the fire of determination. And it culminates in the direct vision of the Supreme Lord Vishnu himself. And then it ends here in this scene with transcendence of death itself, where we see Dhruva Maharaj placing his foot on the head of death. Now let's just recall briefly what brought Dhruva Maharaj to this point. So he was born as the son of this great king Uttanapad. His mother's name is Queen Suniti. Now Dhruva was only 5 years old when he faced his rejection. His stepmother Suruchi told him that he had no right to sit on his father's lap. His own father's lap. That he must first worship the Lord and then die and then take birth again through her womb. Then maybe she'll allow him. When he heard that, his heart burned, you can see. Not with hatred, but with a sense of resolve. So he went to his mother Suniti. And instead of consoling him with revenge, says, you should take revenge, she guided him and she said, redirect your pain to God. She said, my dear child, only the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna, can fulfill your desire. Take shelter of him. So that, by giving that seed of devotion, it became the seed of liberation. That small instruction. She was his first guru. Guru's job is to point the dependents, those who are looking up to the guru, to Krishna. Otherwise, the guru fails. The mother's job is also that, to point the children to Krishna. So she said, only the Supreme Lord can fulfill this particular desire. You should take shelter of him. That became the seed, that became his liberation. Then Dhruva, with a great deal of determination, he went to the forest. And there, by the mercy of Narada Muni, so Narada Muni shows up at the most opportune moments to make these turning points in history. In this case, Narada Muni gave him mercy and he gave him the process of bhakti yoga. Meditate on the form of the Lord within the heart. Yes, Krishna is in your heart. Meditate on him. Chant the sacred 12-syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We chanted that at the beginning of this class. Srila Prabhupada would always chant it at the beginning of the class. So, Dhruva Maharaj has two things: the simplicity and purity of a child, and the intensity of a warrior, spiritual warrior, really strong warrior class. So with that, he performed austerity that was so severe that even the demigods started to tremble. And after 6 months of austerity, when he stood on one leg, holding his breath, he choked up the universe, and the Lord appeared before him. Not in his heart, but right in front of his eyes. And you can see in this picture, the Lord is touching the head of Dhruva with his conch shell. At that moment, everything changed. Instant transformation. What is Dhruv pining for? He said, I want a kingdom even bigger than my grandfather's. And his grandfather's Lord Brahma. So I want to rule over everything. They said, no one can tell me where I can sit and where I cannot sit. But when he got the mercy of Lord Vishnu in this way, everything changed. And Dhruva Maharaj said very humbly, my Lord, I was searching for broken pieces of glass. Kacham. Kacham means glass. But now I have found a priceless jewel, Ratna. Looking for happiness in the wrong place. There's nothing in this world. You are everything, my Lord. You are the jewel. So from material desire to control, to win, he said, I'll show them. That whole thing shed away. And he rose to pure devotion to the Lord. From a place of pain, he entered peace. From a sense of strong pride, he found surrender. We cannot be peaceful until we surrender. So it's quite an amazing transformation. This is just the whole story in short. Now the Bhagavatam describes, in this verse, is describing his departure from the world. Dhruva Maharaj ruled for 36,000 years. 36,000 years. Amazing. And here people are happy to rule for 4 years, and even that they keep fighting and they say, okay, maybe after that, 2 terms, you rule one little country here. But he ruled for 36,000 years. But by spiritual grace, he looked still very youthful. He didn't age. His body had become practically spiritualized, basically. And Dhruva Maharaj was prepared to leave. At that moment, death was approaching. But for Dhruva, death is not a threat. It's merely a messenger. Mrityo kritvaiva murdhi angrim. He placed his feet on the head of death. Angrim means lotus feet, his feet. Murdni, the head. That means that he conquered death. Not by escaping it, but by transcending its relevance. It's not relevant to a devotee. For one who has realized his eternal identity, death no longer means destruction. Why? Because only the body is going to be destroyed. It actually means a graduation. Now we move on forward. When people graduate, they move on to the next thing, something bigger and better. So for devotees, death is a graduation. It's not destruction. And Bhagavad Gita says, Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshana darshanam. That we're constantly, the wise person reflects on the misery of birth, death, old age, disease, until they rise above them. So Dhruva did not defeat death by violence. He defeated it by devotion. So if you notice in the verse that we're reading today, it says Munina Gita Yarbhaka. Gita means the song of who? The Muni. Muni is who? His guru, Narad Muni. Arbhaka means the child. He was enlightened by hearing the songs of the sage. Narada Muni did not give Dhruva celestial weapons to fire at people. He gave him words, the song of God. Gita, he says, Gita Yarpaka, Munina Gita, the song of his guru. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, the song of Krishna. So when Narada Muni, who's a pure devotee, speaks and sings, that's also the song of God, spoken by the Guru's song. So by hearing, Dhruva attained realization. By hearing, he overcame illusion. By hearing, he rose above, he ascended beyond death, beyond mortality. So powerful is the sound vibration that when it's spoken by a pure devotee, what happens? It reconfigures the heart. It rearranges our priorities substantially. Things that we thought are so important become completely inconsequential, utterly insignificant. The Bhagavatam itself confirms this, right? Srinvatam Swakatha Krishnam Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantastho Hyabadrani Vidunoti Suhitsatam. That when we sincerely hear about Krishna, the Lord personally cleanses the heart of all impurities. You know, it's not possible for us to do a thorough job of cleansing our own heart of impurities. We don't even know what impurities we have. Some of the things we think are pure, they're actually not pure. Some of the things we think are good, they're actually bad for us. So the Lord knows, he comes in. So we invite the Lord, and the Lord comes and he cleanses the heart. So this Dhruva story is proof that just one moment of sincere hearing from the right source, from pure devotee, can accomplish what lifetimes of austerity cannot. This transformation. When he places his feet upon the head of death. So, I'm just going to take a second over here. You can see, I'm just going to stop sharing, I have an issue. You can see that Dhruva Maharaj, when we said he places his feet upon the head, what is the victory here? The victory is over the fear. We are all fear things ending. This is going very nice. It should not end. You see? So we fear that. But what is the fear based on? The fear is based on this idea that I am this body. You see, this 11th canto defines fear. Bhayam dviti abhiniveshita syat. Fear is because I think I'm absorbed in the secondary identity. Our primary identity is that I'm eternal servant of Krishna. Secondary identity is that I think I'm this body. So, what is the victory? It's the victory over fear. Death is only terrifying when we identify with the body. But Dhruva figured out, I'm not this body, I'm a servant of the Lord. So, if you really understand that, death bows down to you. Death bowed to him. Second is the mastery of time. Death is actually time personified. The word kala is used interchangeably for time and for death. But for devotee, the time becomes friendly, becomes your friend, because now the time is carrying you toward Krishna, not away from Krishna. So time becomes your friend. Another thing we can see here, what does it mean to place his feet upon the head of death? Is his eternal identity is restored. He reclaimed his eternal form. The form that stepped onto the plane, even though it looked like his physical form, was actually a spiritual body. His body had become spiritualized. So he reclaimed his identity. And the key takeaway here is that devotion is supreme. Supremacy of devotion over destiny. We may have some destiny because of a karma, but devotion can get rid of everything. Death belongs to the material order of karma. But bhakti, being transcendental, rewrites that destiny, rewrites the destiny. Dhruva didn't die. he departed consciously, boarding a Vaikuntha airplane, his heart fully absorbed in the form of the Lord in full love. So the devotee does not, quote unquote, escape death. He redefines death. What others call the end, the devotee calls entry into eternity. It's devotion that overrides all that. So some key principles that we can take away from this. Pain is a portal to purification. Dhruva's journey began with pain, not peace. Remember, he was told by his stepmother, don't you dare sit on your father's lap. So what if he's your father? I will not allow you to sit, because I am the favorite queen of your father. And therefore, only the children of the favorite queen will be allowed to sit on the father's lap. And Dhruva looked at his father, and the father looked down. So yeah, okay, whatever she says is right. The father didn't even shout at his as Suruchi, saying, hey, it's not right. He's my son too. Come, Dhruv, sit. He didn't do that. That really broke Dhruva's heart. It was very painful. So Dhruva's journey began with pain, not peace. Now, in the material world, pain is the default. There's more pain than pleasure. It's like by default, everything is painful. It's like in the ocean, everything is wet. Hardly anything in the ocean is dry. Every little thing in this world, even though it may be colorful, pleasurable sometimes, but it's accompanied by some physical discomfort or some mental pain or some emotional, some traumas we've experienced. Even when we're going through nice things, the traumas of our past keep haunting us. So we can't even enjoy this moment from today. And if you go to the best scenic view, you go to the mountain, the top of the mountain is so beautiful, you feel at peace. I'm not feeling at peace. Why? Because I've carried my trauma with me to the top of the mountain. I've carried my pain with me. I'm not letting go of it. This is the way the world works because we have a hard time letting go of pain. We're suffering. We're not at peace. Our suffering, if turned toward God, becomes that very energy that can propel us to realization. See, so our pain can propel us to realization. So Prabhupada's teachings, basically what they're saying is Krishna consciousness means converting miseries into opportunities to remember Krishna. Prayers of Queen Kunti, she says, and Lord, give us more calamities, because every time there's a calamity, it's an opportunity to remember you. And somehow when we're going through some painful thing, you show up. If that's what it takes, then no problem. Please give me more calamities and more painful situations, because I know I'll see you, and seeing you means I'll not see the repeated birth and death. So Dhruva's pain became a portal to his purification. We can also find ways to leverage our pain. Let's take an example. Suppose someone said to me something a few years ago that really hurts me so bad, it still bothers me, like really painful. There's two ways I can process this. I can completely forget my Krishna consciousness, my process, or maybe put that on hold or put it on quiet quitting or not really focus on it and keep my full energy, emotions invested in the pain and constantly remembering again and again what someone did to me all the time. That's one way to kind of wallow and indulge in the pain. An alternate way is to now take it to the Lord. My Lord, this pain is really hurting me. Please help me process it. Please help me see this through the scriptures. Let me read. And the reading, I come across things that, we have to let things go. We have to realize we're not the body. Yeah, amanina manadena. If someone didn't respect me, it's okay. Well, I'll continue respecting others. Be more humble. Be more tolerant than a tree. Be more humble than a blade of grass. Okay, let me try that. my Lord, it's still not working. I understand theoretically, but somehow I still feel that pain. Please give me more inspiration. Please allow me to chant. So what we do is we bring that package of pain and actively work with the Lord. Not that it's a separate thing. My Lord, this is what's bothering me. I want to be a better devotee. I want to be like you want me to be. Please give me the intelligence, the feeling, the emotion that's associated with this pain. Let me use that energy of that emotion to turn to you. I'm crying tears. Let me cry tears in front of you and cry for you instead of crying only for the pain. Let me cry in such a way that I'm feeling a remorse that I'm not able to turn to you enough, my Lord. And that pain can help me in my crying. And then eventually what happens, that pain, because it becomes a portal, it's a door. You go through the door and you leave it behind. You don't stay in a door. Doors are not a place to stay. It's a portal. But we get purified by it. And we recognize, my Lord, now I realize I should have suffered so much more than what I got. You are so kind. You gave me just a little bit. Thank you for giving me that perspective. And so when we make progress in Krishna consciousness, our perspectives change and the pain can become a portal to purification. We just have to find ways to leverage it. The ways are all there in the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shikshashtakam, and so on. We follow the guidance of Srila Prabhupada and the other advanced devotees who are with us and progressively move toward Krishna. That's the first point. The other principle is the Guru's song. Remember that song of Narad Muni? The Guru's song is the ladder to liberation, ladder, step by step. Narada's compassionate intervention, his getting involved, it changed everything for Dhruva. He redirected Dhruva's ambition from the throne to the transcendental abode, to transcendence. We cannot reach God by our willpower alone, never. We must be touched by Guru Kripa, the mercy of Guru, the song of the saint that awakens remembrance. And we see how the Guru lives. We see that the Guru is fully engaged in remembering the Lord and spreading the message of the Lord day in, day out. That's all he cares about. And we can get inspired by that. And we can serve the Gurus doing that. So Narada's mercy combined with Dhruva's willpower, and his efforts, that's what led to success. Willpower alone will not take us there. We have to get the mercy of Guru. So this verse mentions the Guru's song. See? That's the second point. The third point here, what is Dhruva's real qualification? Devotion, not his age or status, but devotion is the real qualification. Dhruva is known here, is called here as Arbhaka, a child. And yet the Bhagavatam glorifies him as one who surpassed death. So this breaks up, it demolishes this misconception that realization requires age, that only older people can be self-realized. It's 5 years old. Or it requires a particular kind of birth, or a particular kind of intellectual mastery. No, even a small child can surpass mortality through his bhakti. That's the real qualification, devotion. Shukadeva Goswami is only 16 years old. Practically everybody else listening to him was much older than him, and yet he was the main person speaking. His devotion, the purity, that's the qualification, not age. This is a lesson that we learn from this Dhruva Maharaj story. We don't need to be stuck up in stereotypical understanding of what an advanced devotee should look like. The Bhagavatam is full of such examples. What devotees should look like. No, such a variety, including demons. So many born in demoniac families are great devotees. or demonic bodies. Vritrasura, the great Mahabhagavata, big demon in his looks. Prahlad Maharaj, born in demoniac family, great devotee. Bali Maharaj, the grandson of Prahlad, born in the same line, great devotee. So it's a devotion, not the birth or the age. That's the qualification. And that should give all of us hope. Our background shouldn't matter. What matters is what we do going forward. We just need to intensify our devotion practice, our sincerity, and so on. Point number 4. Death is not to be feared, but to be used. Really, how do I use my own death? See, for a devotee, every breath is a rehearsal for death. Yeah. Try it sometime. Breathe in, breathe out. Now imagine, maybe a little morbid, but just imagine, my Lord, I pray to you that my last breath that I'll take is infused with thinking of you. And then you ask yourself, wait, why is this breath not infused with thinking of you? If this breath is not infused with thinking of you, then how do you think the last breath of death is going to be infused, be saturated with your thoughts? My Lord, give me the inspiration, the intelligence to think of you in this breath. And you breathe. Yes. And you remember Krishna, that Krishna says, I am the incoming and outgoing breath of the all living entities. He said in chapter 15, Bhagavad Gita, Pranapanas mayuktam pachamyandam chaturvidam. You can remember. And then you think, well, it'll be one day when that breath will be my last breath. My Lord, in that breath, please come. But I don't need to wait for that. I'm inviting you in my breath now. Please remind me of you, how much you love me. Let me remember that. Let me be thrilled by it. So death is not something to be feared. Let every breath be a rehearsal for death, a practice in letting go, a practice in remembering Krishna, a practice in stepping higher. When Dhruva placed his feet on death's head, he demonstrated what it means to live and to die victoriously, the art of dying. You know, some people, they say, let me read the book on art of living. But really, our main focus should be art of dying, because we all are going to die. Please leave this body. And if you live right, then the art of dying is taken care of. The art of dying is our focus. Then point number 5, association determines our destination. Dhruva got elevated to Vaikuntha because he got Narada Muni's Sangha, Narada Sangha, Sadhu Sangha. And Prabhupada so often emphasized, 1 moment of association with the pure devotee can give you all success. Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. All success just with the moments of great association. So the company we keep becomes the destiny we reach. We keep the right company. Choose the right company. Don't let the world choose your company for you. And this last point here, Bhagavatam, that this Bhagavatam that we're reading, this is Krishna himself. This Bhagavatam is a living portal to eternity. So just like Narada Muni, he lifted Dhruva beyond death. These same words of Narada Muni that are found in Bhagavatam, these same words of the teachings, they can, when we hear properly, they can lift us now. They can lift us up now. Every verse in the Bhagavatam is a Vaikuntha airplane waiting for our attention to climb on. Every verse. Look how much there is in just this one verse. So much packed. I'm not going outside the scope of this, the words of this verse. This verse is amazing. And you'll find every verse is like that. It's always something uplifting in these Bhagavatam verses. Every verse is a Vaikuntha airplane. When the celestial airplane descended to carry Dhruva Maharaj, he remembered his mother, Suniti, whose blessings guided his journey. And he was worried, wait a minute, where is she? And then before he got on the plane, he was asking, and then he saw her in another plane besides near his plane. And he said, okay, she's already climbed in her plane. Thank God. Okay, good, good. What does it tell us? That the mercy of the devotee carries even the family along. So Srila Prabhupada writes that when Dhruva ascended the airplane, he looked back not with attachment, but with compassion. He had conquered death, mrityu, but his heart was filled with mercy, kripa. See? So that is the perfection of bhakti. It makes you fearless, but not heartless. You see, that's another point to keep in mind. When we become fearless because of bhakti, we don't become heartless. Some people think, oh yeah, I don't care for anybody. No, you care more. You have a softer heart. Just because you're fearless doesn't mean you become stone-hearted. It's the opposite. See? So every one of us, sooner or later, has to meet mrityu. But if we, following the footsteps of Dhruva Maharaj, hear attentively from the pure devotee, fix our mind on the Lord, serve sincerely, then when that final moment comes, it'll not be a failure. It'll be a flight. See? It will this death will bow, not roar. Time will serve. It won't eat you up. And we, just like Dhruva Maharaj, will be able to step into the pathway of eternity. See? So let's remember that hearing from a pure devotee can lift even a child beyond death. Bhakti yoga can turn rejection into revelation. And death for the devotee becomes the servant who opens the door eagerly to Krishna's kingdom. So every time we open the Bhagavatam, my dear devotees, every time we speak, every time we hear these glories, we are rehearsing Dhruva Maharaj's ascent. When the airplane of remembrance arrives for us, may we too place our feet upon the head of death and ascend, not in fear, but in a song full of soft-hearted gratitude. Hare Krishna. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. May Dhruva Maharaj bless us with the courage to transform every pain into remembrance, every death into devotion, and every moment into a step toward Vaikuntha. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much for your valuable time. Really appreciate it. Don't take it for granted. And we look forward to seeing you more and more. If you have any comments, questions, we can discuss now, if that's okay. I think we have some time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this beautiful Shri Krishna Katha from the Nectarian Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, I'm here. I'm fortunate that I have the opportunity to hear Bhagavatam from various devotees, at least 5 times in a week, and it's been quite continuous. So that is very beautiful. And there are many devotees here who are also regular attendees. And we pray that this process can continue on forever and ever till we have to leave this world. And even after we leave this world, it still continues. It's eternal. Well, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you, if you have a question, comment, reflection, you may want to ask, share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you will be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections, realizations. Hare Krishna. And to those of you who are like maybe your first time being here, we thank you so much for being here with us today. And you may stop by same time, same place, anytime you have the little chance to be with us. So, devotees, if anyone has a question, please you may do so. Sonia
me.
Murthy?
Oh, sorry, just forgive me. I did not mean to put the emoji that just came up.
Oh, Steph, no problem. Soumya Mata, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji, Dandavat
Krishna.
pranams, all
Hare
glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Madan Gopal Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful lecture, much needed for me today, especially with all the things manifesting. So Prabhuji, you mentioned a very powerful point, converting pain to purpose through bhakti, but sometimes like you hear the saying, right? Like you can remove the thorn that pricks your leg and to take out another thorn. And so, but in practical sense, like sometimes when pain hits you, it is intense and you are confused. And of course, we chant as devotees, we do follow all of those regulative principles, but still, mind is such a terrible thing, especially for me. It just takes me down, that I feel really, really down. And, I kind of take some time to come out of it. And how do I turn that into purpose? Can you help me? Can you give some practical tips? Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. This is a very real thing, of course. This is it goes to the heart of our practice. When pain hits us, even some of the most sincere practitioners can feel that the mind is now hijacked. The scriptures and our acharyas, they acknowledge that reality, but they also show us practical ways in how we can do this alchemy. You know what's alchemy? Alchemy is the process of turning lead or some lower metal into gold. So we can alchemize the pain into purpose. So there are some practical things that can be done. When pain comes, the first instinct is either drown it or deny it. But the Bhagavatam teaches through this Dhruva Maharaj example that transformation begins when we pause. Pause and witness. Pause and witness the pain without reacting impulsively. Okay, this is one practical tip I can. So for example, something happens. You take a few breaths, conscious breaths, and just notice your thoughts and sensations. Try to notice it as an observer. Then say to yourself, wait, this is my mind reacting to the pain. I'm the observer. I'm watching my mind do its thing. So now you've separated yourself. That's very important. Pause. Don't suppress. Don't deny. Don't drown it or pretend it's not there. It's there. What happens, this tiny pause, it opens a space between me and my suffering. Because we think I am my suffering, you see. So learn to take a pause. It allows the buddhi, intelligence, to do its work. Otherwise, we drown out the intelligence. And when the intelligence has been spiritualized by understanding a lot of scriptures and practice and all that, then the intelligence can be allowed to re-engage and evaluate and work properly. A lot of times, mind takes over, intelligence can't do anything. So that one pause can help. Then, when the mind is too turbulent to meditate, to focus, then engage the body. We have a body. Prabhupada repeatedly said, chant, dance, take prasadam, try it. Say you don't normally go to Mangalarti, go to Mangalarti that day. Go on that Sunday. This last Sunday when Mangalarti, we had 30 devotees there. It was amazing. It was so uplifting. I felt so happy. You forget all the pains. It gives you a break. Chant, dance, take prasadam with the devotees. Chant aloud while walking. So my point is, when the mind is too turbulent to meditate, use the body. You see, offer incense, bow down. Physical devotional service redirects emotional energy. There's a reason for these practices. It redirects emotional energy into spiritual expression. You see, it's not escapism. It's called transmutation. You're redirecting. You're not escaping. You're not denying. You still have to do the work of resolving the problem, but this is how to deal with the pain. Now, replace this question, why me? This question, why me, Lord? Replace that with the question, how can I serve? See, pain thrives on this loop, self-referential loop. Why me? How could this happen? This is called the loop. It's very negative. But the moment we ask, how can I serve Krishna even in this state? It changes the energy completely. Because Krishna smiles at you. Wait, even through this, you're asking, how can I serve you? I will help you. Think about it. This is how we garner the mercy of the Lord. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when I suffer, I let the pain remind me of the suffering of others. See, we don't think of others when we're going through pain. We think we're the only one in the world going through pain. You see, that's the problem. It's a selfish angle, but Krishna consciousness teaches differently. And when you think of others, your own pain goes away, actually. It's a compassion that's born from one's own sorrow becomes bhakti in motion. See? Another point, bring in sadhu sangha. You're not alone. Find a devotee you can open up to. Call them up. Be vulnerable. Of course, you have to choose very carefully who you do this with, but borrow the mind of someone else who's infused in Krishna consciousness. Association realigns our perspective. Of course, if you associate with the negative ones, then they'll take you down the wrong rabbit hole. That's why you have to choose carefully. Call a mentor, call a friend who uplifts you. And if that's not possible, hear the Bhagavatam from recordings, from great devotees you appreciate. Turn it on. Put your mind there. See? Another angle. See Krishna differently. See Krishna as a surgeon, not the punisher. The same knife. Oh, why are you punishing me with this scalpel? It's not punishment, I'm a surgeon. You see, he's a surgeon, not the punisher. He's helping you out. He's pulling out the tumor. So the mindset changes. Instead of saying, why this suffering? Is what is Krishna showing me about my attachment and my level of surrender right now? That's the question to ask. Not, why am I suffering? Why me? No. So, another very important one, recall the past mercies of the Lord. The Lord, you've always helped me out so many times, much more than I could even imagine. So when we keep a log in our heart, or even write it down, all the merciful things the Lord has done for us, we can go back and lean on them. See? And when the mind says, no, you're alone, and you say, no, I have all this evidence. Look, I've never been alone. Krishna has always been with me. So you be quiet. I'm not alone. You see? Our mind does those tricks, but these are some tips that I can offer you. Krishna's mercy. Everything is Krishna's mercy. Sandamini Mataji, I hope that's okay.
Perfect, Prabhuji. I just took mental notes, and before I forget, I'm going to write down before me in my work desk so that I constantly remember those 6 points that you gave us. Thank you so much. So happy that I attended this Srimad Bhagavatam class, and I'm so thankful to your association and Mansi Ganga Mataji's association. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sandamini Mataji. Stephanie Mataji, please go ahead. You had your hand up for a minute.
Hi, Krishna, Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, I could relate to that a lot, actually, with the mind going. I guess my question is, when the mind takes over, I kind of tell myself I am doing something wrong, that I'm feeling this way. Like something's not aligned, something, my sadhana is not right. So if you could explain further about that.
Okay, so it's like, okay, you're talking about, let me just rephrase this, that you're telling yourself, must be something I'm doing wrong, or I'm not aligned properly, mind is taking over. when what you're describing, seeing that something, quote unquote, is not aligned, and you see that the mind is taking over, that's actually the beginning of real introspection. That's actually the first step. It's very good because you're seeing it now. Because the fact that you're seeing it means you're not identifying with the mind anymore. Before you were identifying, you think this is me, but now you're saying, no, my mind is doing it. The fact that you can see it taking over means the soul, the Atman, and the intelligence, the Buddhi, they're waking up. Still, it can be painful and confusing. I'm not saying it's not, but that's the first step. So you're not doing something wrong. You're becoming aware. When the mind drags us into agitation and we notice it, that awareness itself is sadhana. It's part of our sadhana, it's practice. Prabhupada would say all the time, the mind is like a child. You can't expect it to be quiet immediately. You can't expect it to be quiet all the time. We raise children, we know what that's like. They're just not going to listen. That's okay. It's okay. The problem isn't that the mind rebels. That's not the problem. The problem is when we don't recognize it. We don't recognize it as the tantrum that it is. The moment you say, my mind is disturbed, I'm out of alignment, Krishna consciousness is already entering the picture. See? Think of it like catching yourself drifting while you're driving. Whoa, wait, I thought I was staying in my lane. That's good. So the goal isn't to condemn yourself for drifting. The goal is to gently steer back onto the lane, onto the road. Now there's a trap here, there's a subtle trap. See, remember Krishna talks about the three modes, the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. The mode of ignorance makes us feel hopeless. I'm so fallen, I'm so weak, I can't do this. That's mode of ignorance. The mode of passion makes us condemn ourselves. I'm messed up, I have to fix myself, I gotta do it. This is too much, you feel very intense. Mode of goodness is actually more clear and full of light. Mode of goodness will say, my mind went off track. Let me reconnect, let me realign. See the different, how the modes play out. That's why Krishna encourages us to think in terms of three modes. He spent so many verses in the Gita explaining the modes. We have to use it when we're going through stuff. I'm so fallen, that's ignorance. I'm useless, that's ignorance. There's nothing I can do about it, that's ignorance. I messed up, I'm so angry, I have to fix myself, this is pathetic. Let me do something, that's passion. Let me reconnect. You know, you do it in a very sattvic way. Krishna tells us in the Gita, right? Chapter 6, it says, from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering, unsteady nature, one should bring it back under the control of the self. That's why we read the Gita. These things are very clearly spelled out. There's no ambiguity in the Gita at all. It's as bright as the sun. Just read it and read. Now you take this verse, look it up again. After having asked this question, reflect on this verse, 626, okay? Reflect on it again. I asked this question in this class. Krishna gave me the answer. Read the purport. Whoa, this is great. Krishna has given answers for everything. So notice it doesn't say, Krishna doesn't say, feel guilty, then bring it back. It just says, bring it back. Compassionately, patiently, repeatedly, without judgment. You don't need to be judgmental to our own minds. It's okay. We've had trillions of lifetimes of judgment cast upon us by others and by ourselves. We're done with that. It's not good or bad. It just is. That's it. It drifted off. Is that good or bad? Doesn't matter. That's not relevant. What's relevant is bringing it back. That's it. So what this not aligned really means is when you sense a misalignment, it usually means that your consciousness has shifted from sometimes service mode to self-preservation mode. And that's okay. Because you're feeling that we need to focus on survival, as an example. But then it also shifts from the soul-centered identity to the body-mind-centered identity. That's a misalignment. That's not where we want to be. But it happens all the time. Why do you think we take our car for wheel alignment after so many miles? Every night, we have to keep doing it because the nature of the world is bumpy and our wheels get misaligned. Govinda Prabhu is driving a truck. or driving some big vehicle. And I know he gets his wheels aligned every now and then. It's just part of the picture, you know. We have to just keep doing this. What Krishna said, just keep bringing it back. So in Bhagavatam, it says that when the heart is purified by constant chanting, and the devotees see the Lord everywhere, then it becomes peaceful. That is the root source of our peace. You see. So when the peace disappears, it's not a moral failure. It's just a signal. You know, sometimes like these cars nowadays, they have this. It gives you a beep. Hey, you're getting off lane, and you know it gives you a little thing. It's just a signal. It's not a failure. It's a signal. So the compass of our consciousness is turning away from Krishna. I turned away from Krishna a little bit too much. So we treat that awareness as a gentle alarm, not a punishment siren. Okay. So what's the two-step reset you got to do? You name it without blame. Right now, my mind is disturbed. It's fine. That's okay. It's not me. It's my instrument. That's okay. Step 2, redirect the attention. Don't fight. Don't fight the thought. Shift the energy. And then chant one round. Bring awareness of the sound, awareness of your breath. Offer one small prayer. Hear one verse aloud. Hear it. This builds your muscle of Buddhi Yoga. You know, Krishna says Buddhi Yoga is actually Bhakti Yoga. It builds your muscle of strengthening your spiritual intelligence, acting from a place of intelligence rather than conditioned emotion. All right. And this one's the most important. I'll tell you, this is the most important. See Krishna's mercy in the moment of misalignment. Sometimes Krishna lets us feel the turbulence to show us our dependence. If you always feel peaceful and everything's going nice, sometimes it may stop taking shelter. You have to take shelter every moment. See? So instead of saying, I am doing wrong, reframe it and say, Krishna is letting me see where I need to surrender more deeply. See? So we just have to think from a different angle, right? Thank you, Stephanie. Hare Krishna. I hope that was useful for you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the beautiful questions. And Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful answers. Anyone else with something to ask or to share? Prabhuji, this question that was generated by Soumya Murthy Devi, pain, I think it's a topic we can discuss it for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
Yes,
yes, it's true.
I do not like to talk about it because as much as I cherish everything you're saying, probably because I am not there, I'm not at that level, but I feel so much pain sometimes. And it is nice that sometimes Krishna makes me forget certain things. I remember some years ago, I had not seen Srila Prabhupada's last days video that time. But someone had the tape and was going to show it in the temple room, our Sunday feast. And His Grace Kantiya Prabhu was there that time. And he left the temple room crying like a baby. And I didn't understand him, why? And then later on, when I saw how it was, I cannot watch it again. I mean, I witnessed how my Gurudev went through so much. His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. I do not want to see those images. I see how Jayapataka Maharaj is going through so much. So I may not be the one who is having the physical pain. But the emotional pain, I'm not spiritual, so I will not even talk about spiritual pain, if there is such a thing as spiritual pain. But me being a disciple, seeing my spiritual master go through so much pain, and it's difficult. It's difficult. And I don't know, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry.
No, thank you for sharing your heart, Prabhu. This is one of the most, like the deepest and most tender question a disciple can ever ask. Watching our spiritual master, our guru, go through that, it pierces the heart in a way that very few experiences can. Like just seeing Prabhupada's that video, I don't think I can ever watch it again in my life. Like sometimes temples still show it. I personally don't think temples should ever show that. It's just too heart-wrenching. Yeah. Of course, we know that this ache is bhakti itself. We see this even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita when Mahaprabhu himself, he saw the passing of Haridas Thakur. And of course, the pain was there. And Mahaprabhu himself, I mean, there was tears everywhere. Mahaprabhu embraced the body of Haridas Thakur, gave his blessings. And it can be very hard. But at the same time, it's such a spiritual, it's such an honor to be even associated with a great soul like this. Such great souls, they come once in millions of years. They're very rare. In 2004, when we went down to Gidanagari to spend time with His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Gurudev, it was the most memorable, spiritually transformative experience of my life. And all the flood of memories came when he came to my apartment, when we were doing preaching in State College, and he would come and give classes there. It melted everybody's heart. And then now to see such a great stalwart, leaving so early. And yet he had this glorious smile. Like, how can you, like, Gurudev, how can you smile, when everybody else is crying, but you can see he's seeing Krishna. He's teaching us like Bhishma Dev. When Bhishma Dev was in the bed of arrows, even Krishna's eyes had tears. It's unfathomable pain. You can imagine what he's going through. So we can't understand the glories of these great souls. Very rare. But we can express gratitude to the Lord who gave us the opportunity to get their association, even if it's for a short time. So yes, there's no end to this pain. And yet, because Krishna consciousness is absolute, the pain of separation is also what is life about. And we know that in the spiritual sense, there's never any real separation. Prabhupada said, I've never felt separate from my guru. My guru is there with me every moment. That gave me great strength and hope always. And so that pain, that memory, the remembrance, that rivets our consciousness to our guru very tightly. And that's also Krishna's mercy. And the more we cry tears of separation and remembrance, the more close we come to Krishna and Guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is crying day and night. What is he crying about? Separation from his Lord. And writing about it. The joy of separation is more intense than the joy of union. It's a joy, even though Prabhupada said people don't know this crying tears is a great pleasure. Prabhupada writes this is a transcendental pleasure. People of the world have no idea what they're missing out on. So, yes, I don't have any words to express Dev Prabhu. Just have my heart. Hare Krishna. Yes, Stephanie Mataji, please go ahead.
It was going back and forth if I wanted to share this, but I did want to say that I just recently, this past Disappearance Day of Prabhupada, I watched it for the first time as well. And I had the same reaction as you. And all day long, I could not stop crying. And I was really, I'm like, maybe it's just because in the West, we deal with death in such a way where it's very hidden. And, I need to get over this. So it actually feels kind of nice to hear that you also have that strong reaction, to know that it's real, and just to relate. It just, yeah.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, it's a fairly universal phenomenon. Yeah, but it's again, this is the mercy of the Lord that we can appreciate Prabhupada and the great souls who have given their whole lives to Krishna. We can appreciate, and that appreciation will guarantee our success. Yes, Sandamini Mataji, go ahead.
Just wanted to share one more thing to His Grace Sahadevadas Prabhuji. Bhaktitirtha Maharaj has been so instrumental in planting the seed of bhakti in my heart. Like, I came to know of Bhaktitirtha Maharaj through his disciples, like through Krishnanandini Mataji, my Siksha Guru, who is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, but also through Mother Isha Upanishad Devi Mataji and Mother Agni, and so many wonderful devotees of Bhaktitirtha Maharaj. And yes, when I read Black Lotus, it just transformed my life. And of course, like I always think, our acharyas and these wonderful gurus have given us so much of mercy. And I'm really, really thankful really thankful. Thank you, Madan Gopal Prabhu.
Thank you, Sandamini Mataji. Hamsadutta Prabhu has his hand up.
Hare Krishna, gracefully kindly accept my respectful obeisances. All glory to Gurudev, all glory to Guru Prabhupada, and all glory to wonderful assembled devotees. I guess my question is that losing someone who is so dear to your heart, like what His Grace Sadev was sharing, in my situation, sometimes I try to trick myself that it has not happened, because when I begin to think about that, the pain is become so severe that sometimes I feel like my intestine is tearing apart. It's the death of my father. So my junior brother he witnessed everything. He was sitting there with my father, and my father was telling him how he has to be more God consciousness. And for 5 minutes, my father said he's going to pray. And my brother go and find him dead, left his body. And his experience was that he didn't want my mother to hear that he's dead, so he just be able to hold himself, take him to another room and call other of our elders. And he has to stay with him the whole night alone. And it has been 2 years now, but he's facing a lot of difficulties because the trauma and everything is coming to him now. And I was called to talk to him. I was able to advise him so much and make him understand that the service the last service he did, I wish I did that for my father, because he was the one who carried him and stayed with him for his last breath. He was with him. And I was trying to convince him that this is very, very, very auspicious and a very, very good service. And my advice was be able to bring him, to make him understand and calm down and understand the nature of life. But me particularly, if I begin to think about it, I can't hold myself. And sometimes I can take my phone. Oh, I have to call my father. When I take the phone, then I remember he's no more. It's up till now, it's very difficult for me to accept it. When I begin to accept it, then I begin to feel so much severe pain, which is unbearable. But like I said, I'm able to talk to my brother and advise him. So what should I do to overcome this? What should I do?
Yes. Thank you, Hamsadutta Prabhu. Yes. This is a very sacred and sensitive question. The shock of losing someone close like the father, it shakes not just our emotions, but our sense of reality. It could. The first reflex, like you said, it's not happened. It didn't happen. It's not faithlessness when you say it's not happened. It's the heart's way of protecting itself from the unbearable separation. The Shastras, the Sadhus, the Krishna, they gently help us move from denial to divine remembrance, from pain to purification, like we talked about, and ultimately from loss to love, love in separation. So denial is not a shield. It's not a spiritual failure. It's the first cry of attachment, because love is still searching for its object. And Prabhupada would often say such feelings show that you have affection. You have a soft heart, and this is the quality of a devotee. So allow the first wave. It's not weakness. It's the beginning of healing. Now the shock, you see, until now, this idea, we are not this body, is a theoretical idea. But when we lose somebody, Krishna gives us this sacred opportunity to realize this. Right? Krishna says, for the soul, there's neither birth nor death anytime. And when the heart says it's not happened, what it really means is the person I love cannot truly cease to exist. So that feeling is partially true, because they're not gone. They're gone somewhere else, but they're not dead. They're not stopped existing. A soul has not died. So we need to redirect that intuition from this bodily denial to spiritual reaffirmation. That why am I feeling he's not gone? Because I know he's not gone. But my perspective of his eternity is not fully clear or fully aligned. So the affirmation we need to make is, yes, the body has stopped, but my father, the actual soul, the person, he's eternal and he's in Krishna's care. Krishna is taking care. You see, another point, you asked the question, what can I do about it? Is prayer. You want to transform the denial into connection with Krishna through prayer. See, denial tries to hold on to the past, but prayer lets us hold on to the person through Krishna. When you feel the absence, you turn it into an invocation. My dear Lord Krishna, my dear Lord, please carry my father's soul into your loving shelter. Let him be peaceful. Let him remember you. Let him, the fact that he left while doing prayers. Let me serve him now by remembering him in devotion. This brings Krishna into the picture. See, a lot of our pain comes because we don't bring Krishna into the picture. When we bring Krishna into the picture, the whole picture changes. So what happens? It transforms helplessness into service. You're no longer frozen in disbelief. You're now acting in love. It's a big difference. See, and the bond of the soul never ends. Prabhupada says, the relationship between devotees never breaks even after death. If your father had any faith, any affection to God, which he did, obviously, because he was praying, even directly, indirectly, it doesn't matter. That bond continues. In the Bhagavatam also, demigods pray that anyone connected to Krishna, even slightly, is protected eternally. So the relationship has changed form, not ended. You can continue to offer prasadam, you can continue to chant for him, you can continue dedicating annual services or any other kind of services in his name, and continue to give charity on his behalf. Each act keeps this thread alive on the spiritual plane. It is not outside the scope of spiritual life. It's a very much part of it. You see. Now, of course, we have denial, then we have the grief, like you mentioned, then the grief hits me, very unbearable pain, right? So grief, when it's offered to Krishna, again, bring Krishna in the picture, becomes bhakti in separation. Because now Krishna is part of it. And I'm feeling separation from my father and Krishna together. See? So like when the gopis are separated from Krishna, they didn't deny his absence. They cried and remembered him. This purified their hearts, brought them closer to him. You see? And then ultimately we have to accept the things we have to accept that we don't like. We have to accept the divine arrangement of the Lord. You know, there's a condolence, Prabhupada wrote condolence, condolence, someone had passed away. And he said, everyone who has come to this world, they must go away at a certain time. The real purpose of life is to prepare for that final test. So acceptance doesn't mean we become indifferent. It just means we're trusting Krishna's timings, even though the pain is there. The same Lord who gave you your father's presence is the same Lord who's taking away his association into a higher dimension. So it's the same person. He gave you, it's okay. We feel the pain, we don't deny it. But the grief can awaken a sense of gratitude. How fortunate I was, my Lord, that I got this soul as my father, how many lessons I learned from him, how many sacrifices he did for me, how many blessings he gave to me. This gratitude connects us to Krishna's mercy, but through the relationship of the Father. So gratitude is a stepping stone to love. Remember, love of God is very hard, but gratitude is easier to reach. Step on gratitude, and next step is love. If you remain on the rock of gratitude, love is just the next rock away. See, you can't jump without gratitude into the rock of love. It's the bridge between love and peace. So we can reflect on all these points, accept the feelings as real. At the same time, look for opportunities to grow, taking shelter of the Shastras, taking shelter of Prabhupada's teachings, and other progressive devotees who can give you guidance. I can offer those few words, Hamsadutta Prabhu. I hope that was helpful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful responses to our questions. We thank you so much. And Assembled Vaishnava devotees, we thank you all for your association and your engagement and enlightenment. We believe we may bring this to a final close, but before we do that, Prabhuji, if you may have some sort of concluding remarks to share on today's Srimad Bhagavatam Katha, please, you may do that.
Sure, thank you, yes. So, yes, in conclusion, it's a very important thing how Dhruva Maharaj stepped over death and how we can all gain a great deal of hope that yes, the process is simple. You just have to stick to the process and pray for the mercy of our gurus, like how Dhruva Maharaj got, and pray for the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Lord, and learn to lean deeply on their mercy, learn to align ourselves and to give this love to each other, that we may someday also gain that level of confidence and purity that Dhruva Maharaj taught us and exemplified and exhibited. The key is proper association and giving each other a sense of compassion and chanting deeply, turning to the Lord. So thank you all very much again. I'm full of gratitude to all of you for kindly inviting me. I feel right at home here in this circle. And I look forward to seeing all of you again and again. My obeisances to Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for making time to be with us today. It is our honor to have your association. And devotees, we thank you all for being here. Like we said, you may stop by anytime. You have a little chance to share your association with us. Same time, same place, Monday through Friday. So we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all with one heart, one love, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our deepest appreciation to our revered speaker for today, His Grace Madan Gopal Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Vancha
Vanchaka
Kalpatarubhyascha,
Patarubhyascha, Kripa
Kripasinubhyascha,
Sindhya Ivacha,
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanabhyo
Vaishnavabhyo
Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to His Grace Madan Gopal Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to Samud Vaishnava Vaishnavi devotees Ki Jai. All glories.
Hari 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 Bol.